Ever wanted to become a superhero? Or wished that you could stretch out your arm far enough to reach out for the remote control across the room? Fret not, your childhood dreams aren't too far-fetched and are now possible. I present to you the superelastic conducting fiber. So what can this fiber do? This fiber, which is the fruit of a study conducted by Bowman et al., entitled Hierarchically Buckled Sheath Core Fibers for Superelastic Electronics, Sensors, and Muscles, has the following capabilities. 1. It can stretch up to 14 times its original length. 2. Its capacitance increases tenfold when stretched. 3. Its electrical conductivity also increases when stretched. And lastly, 4. Its resistance doesn't change significantly when stretched. Sound like the beginning of superhero powers, right? I'm pretty sure the inner child in you wishes you could do those. Let's put these fantasies aside first, and let's discuss the relevant innovations to the superhero fiber. The stretchable electronics technology is capable of converting rigid electric components and devices into a stretchable and wearable form. This new design for stretchable electronics could be used to improve eye cameras, smart surgical gloves, body parts, airplane wings, backplanes for liquid crystal displays, and biomedical devices. The stretchable electronics market is still in its nascent stage as very few products have been commercialized. Many products are expected to get commercialized by 2018 and 2019. The global stretchable electronics market is expected to reach $911.37 million by 2023, as forecasted by Dr. Peter Harrop of ID Tech X. The schematic of typical elastic electronics, as shown in the first figure, consists of the rigid or flexible component islands that are connected by elastic interconnects, which allows for stretching of the circuit board such that it could adjust to movements and deformations. This schematic would eventually be the basis of all stretchable electronics that are to be invented. This very schematic is used on wearable thermometers such as the one shown in the second figure. But then, stretchable electronics have to be worn the whole time, so it is important to make them more or less breathable such that these electronics will be more comfortable to wear. Washability is also important if we want to use these technologies in healthcare as well as the textile industry. The electronics have to be sterilized or washed before they can be reused. Additionally, this technology makes it now possible that these stretchable electronic devices, such as the one shown in the third figure, could be used anywhere, including inside the human body. The third figure shows the first stretchable lithium-ion battery, which could power innovative stretchable electronics. This battery can work for 8 to 9 hours before it needs recharging, which can be done wirelessly, enabling integration of electronics and power into a small stretchable package. Companies innovating stretchable electronic devices, such as MC10, whose poster is shown in the last figure, are now revolutionizing methods to make basic needs such as healthcare as efficient as possible. We are definitely looking at a future filled with stretchable electronic devices. Now back to one of the coolest inventions this year. Ray Bowman and colleagues fabricated superelastic conducting fibers by wrapping carbon nanotube sheets oriented in the fiber direction onto a stretched rubber fiber core of styrene, ethylene, butylene, styrene copolymer. Because the rubber core is stretched along its length as the sheets are being wrapped around it, when the wrapped rubber relaxes, the carbon nanofibers form a complex buckled structure, which allows for repeated stretching of the fiber. Think of the buckling that occurs when an accordion is compressed, which makes the inelastic material of the accordion stretchable. The new fibers differ from conventional materials in several ways. For example, when conventional fibers are stretched, the resulting increase in length and decrease in the cross-sectional area restricts the flow of electrons through the material. But even a giant stretch of the new conducting sheath core fibers causes little change in their electrical resistance. So where can we use these fibers? Bowman's research team is using the new fibers to make artificial muscles, as well as capacitors whose energy storage capacity increases about tenfold when the fibers are stretched. Fibers and cables derived from the invention might one day be used as interconnects for superelastic electronic circuits, robots and exoskeletons having great reach, morphing aircraft, giant range train sensors, failure-free pacemaker LEDs, and super stretchy charger cords for electrical devices. In the Philippine context, it would be great to devise super stretchy electrical transmission lines that could withstand storms that we so frequently experience. To fare well for such applications, the team tested twisting, stretching, and bending the fibers as shown in lab demos, and voila, there is minimal to no change in electrical resistance at all. Financially, how expensive would it cost to make such fibers? The rubber cores used for these sheet core fibers are inexpensive and readily available. The only exotic component is the carbon nanotube aerogel sheet used for the fiber sheath. The reason why this technology could be well suited for rapid commercialization. The use of carbon nanotube infused fibers isn't all new as shown by this innovation by Shah et al. Although their fibers aren't super elastic, the applications are pretty much the same as such as exoskeletons of transportation vehicles, interconnects of stretchable electronics, as well as construction products. Thank you. Here are the references.